Derek Fisher was arrested on an alleged DUI charge and also flipped his car over the 101 freeway in Los Angeles.
Derek Fisher's story went from NBA glory to Hollywood scandal in the blink of an eye. Once a five-time champion and one of the most trusted leaders in the league, Fisher ended up in handcuffs after flipping his Cadillac Escalade on the 101 freeway in Los Angeles during an alleged DUI crash. How does someone go from being Kobe Bryant's right-hand man to becoming one of basketball's biggest outcasts? Fisher's downfall is a chilling tale of betrayal, broken trust, and reckless choices. For years, Fisher was seen as the ultimate professional, a respected veteran, five-time NBA champ, and team captain who could hit dagger shots in the clutch. He shared locker rooms with legends like Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and players saw him as reliable both on and off the floor. But when the spotlight shifted from the hardwood to his personal life, everything changed. And fast. The breaking point came in October 2015, when Fisher, then head coach of the New York Knicks, started dating Gloria Govan, the ex-wife of his former Lakers teammate Matt Barnes. In NBA circles, that was seen as crossing a line you never cross. Fisher and Barnes weren't just teammates. They had history, shared championship runs, and a brotherhood. To many, this was betrayal. The tension exploded when Barnes reportedly drove nearly 100 miles to confront Fisher in Redondo Beach, leading to a physical altercation. What made things even worse? Fisher was spending time around Barnes' twin sons, giving the impression he was sliding into Barnes' family life. Around the league, it wasn't seen as messy gossip. It was a total violation of trust. Fisher's reputation as a disciplined leader collapsed overnight. Even though Fisher insisted in a Sports Illustrated essay that the scandal had nothing to do with his firing from the Knicks, the damage was already done. His coaching record, 23 wins and 31 losses in the 2015-16 season, only fueled the fire. The Knicks had bet big on him, signing him in June 2014 to a 5-year, $25 million deal, despite no coaching experience. They believed his championship rings would inspire a struggling roster. Instead, his locker room turned toxic. Players doubted him, clashed with his system, and whispers of lost respect became headlines. By February 2016, the Knicks pulled the plug, firing Fisher mid-season. The humiliation stung even deeper when Barnes himself publicly trolled him after the firing. What was supposed to be a golden opportunity became a crash and burn disaster. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Fisher went and dug the hole even deeper. In June 2017, he and Gloria Govan were in a late-night crash on the 101 freeway. Fisher lost control, slammed into a guardrail, and flipped the SUV onto its roof. Witnesses said the wreck was terrifying, and it's a miracle no one was killed. Police charged him with 2 counts of DUI, and suddenly, Fisher's name wasn't linked to championships anymore. It was linked to reckless endangerment. He eventually pleaded no contest, a legal move that accepted responsibility without admitting guilt. But the damage was already done. The penalties, steep fines, license suspension, possible jail time, paled in comparison to the brutal hit his reputation took. The man once celebrated for leadership and discipline was now the headline for scandal, betrayal, and self-destruction. Once praised as a 5-time NBA champion and locker room leader, Derek Fisher became the face of what happens when reckless choices catch up with you. In less than 2 years, he went from inspiring crowds with speeches about discipline to being a walking PSA for drunk driving. His crash on the 101 wasn't just a mistake, it was the point of no return. Here's the chilling truth about Fisher's downfall. It wasn't one bad night, it was a whole pattern. First came the betrayal of Matt Barnes, a teammate who trusted him. Fisher didn't just date an ex, he crossed into Barnes' family, knowing it would cut deep. Then his personal mess bled into his Knicks coaching job, poisoning the locker room and proving he couldn't lead by example. And finally, the DUI wreck, a selfish move that put innocent lives at risk. Drunk driving isn't an accident. It's a choice, and Fisher made it. And let's not forget, Fisher's career was always shadowed by drama. Back in 2009, he even had a restraining order against a stalker, showing how his personal life was never far from chaos. The truth is clear. Fisher consistently showed poor judgment, chasing what he wanted even if it meant destroying trust or risking safety. At the center of it all, Gloria Govan, the woman whose relationship with Fisher blew up his career. As Matt Barnes' ex-wife and the mother of his kids, she was off limits under the Brotherhood Code. But Fisher broke that line, and it cost him dearly. That relationship didn't just spark tabloid headlines, it ripped away his credibility, got him fired, and made him the NBA's biggest cautionary tale. Even after his Knicks firing, Fisher flaunted his romance with Govan like nothing was wrong. Barnes later admitted they buried the hatchet, but the scar never healed, because the NBA world doesn't forget betrayal. And the league's reaction? Silence. Unlike other ex-players with scandals who bounce back as coaches or TV analysts, Fisher was iced out. Despite 5 championships and a record-setting playoff career, the NBA gave him no way back. His image was just too toxic. Between the betrayal, the reckless driving, and the leadership collapse, no franchise wanted his name near theirs. The cost was brutal. His 5-year, $25 million Knicks deal went up in smoke when he was fired. Legal bills from his DUI piled up. And worse, he lost the chance at millions more. Commentary gigs, coaching contracts, front office jobs, all gone. He once said money wasn't his motivation, but his actions proved otherwise. In chasing a relationship that shattered trust, Fisher torched his reputation and his financial future. In social media, they never let him live it down. Every step of his downfall, Barnes confronting him, the Knicks disaster, the DUI crash, got clipped, memed, and shared. Barnes' viral trolling after Fisher's firing cemented him as a villain in NBA internet history. For younger fans, Derek Fisher isn't remembered for clutch shots anymore. He's remembered as the guy who lost it all. Derek Fisher isn't remembered for clutch playoff shots anymore. He's remembered as a cautionary tale of failure. His disastrous Knicks run only cemented the stigma. Hired with 0 coaching experience, he thought his rings alone would command respect. Instead, his lack of strategy, leadership, and control over his personal drama ripped the locker room apart. Star players like Carmelo Anthony and Kristaps Porzingis lost faith fast. The team's performance tanked, and less than 2 years into a 5-year contract, the Knicks cut ties. When you add the betrayal of Matt Barnes and that reckless DUI crash, one question echoes louder than ever. Who is Derek Fisher really? On the court, he was clutch. Off it, he showed selfishness, poor judgment, and a willingness to put desires above loyalty or responsibility. Unlike other disgraced athletes who fought for redemption, Fisher never even tried. After his DUI, he could have turned his pain into purpose by speaking out against drunk driving, but instead, he offered weak apologies, ducked accountability, and faded further into disgrace. Barnes eventually made peace with him, but the NBA world didn't. They froze him out completely. Now, Fisher's life is unrecognizable. From Madison Square Garden to a high school gym, he coaches at Crespi Carmelite in California, trading NBA superstars for teenagers. His short run on Dancing with the Stars? Another flop, eliminated early and laughed off. What was once a Hall of Fame resume is now a reminder that bad choices stack up, and respect disappears overnight. And don't forget, his downfall left real victims. Matt Barnes had to watch another man slide into his kids' lives. Drivers on the 101 freeway the night of Fisher's crash could have died because of his recklessness. The Knicks wasted millions and lost crucial years of development under his failed leadership. Rising talents like Porzingis had their early careers disrupted. Gloria Govan's kids got dragged into a public feud between their dad and Fisher, forced to watch their family mess play out online. Even young fans who once idolized Fisher learned their hero wasn't what he seemed. Fisher's collapse teaches some hard truths. Success in one lane doesn't guarantee success in another. Being a great player doesn't make you a great coach or leader. Loyalty matters. Betraying a teammate's family destroys brotherhood forever. Personal behavior always bleeds into professional chances. Fisher's scandals made him unhireable. And drunk driving? That's not just a ticket. It ended whatever chance he had at redemption. The most brutal part? Some damage can't be undone. Fisher's mix of betrayal, incompetence, and recklessness created a perfect storm of disgrace that no apology can fix. The NBA has shut every door on him. No coaching jobs, no analyst seats, no front office calls. His name isn't even whispered when opportunities come up. That's how far he's fallen, from trusted leader to total exile. The basketball world has spoken loud and clear. Derek Fisher is persona non grata. During his playing days, Derek Fisher was celebrated as a leader, a clutch performer, and the ultimate professional. Analysts praised his basketball IQ, his championship pedigree, and his ability to shine in pressure moments. But after the Matt Barnes betrayal, the Knicks disaster, and the DUI crash, the narrative flipped overnight. Fisher became the poster child for athlete privilege and entitlement. The same media that once praised him now tore him apart, dissecting every flaw. His confidence was suddenly arrogance. His leadership became selfishness. His decision-making, once respected, was now branded reckless. Years of positive coverage vanished in a flash, proving just how fragile reputation really is. From a psychological lens, Fisher's downfall raises the big question. Why do people who have it all throw it away? He had championships, respect, financial security, and a golden path to success after basketball. So why risk it all for personal gratification? The answer might lie in the very mentality that once made him great. The same boldness that allowed Fisher to hit clutch shots may have convinced him he could get away with crossing lines, betraying bonds, and making reckless choices. Athletes live years being praised, protected, and forgiven, and many start to feel untouchable. Fisher clearly thought his resume would shield him from consequences, but he guessed wrong. And let's not forget, the jump from player to coach requires a total mindset shift. As a player, Fisher only had to focus on himself. As a coach, he needed to lead by example and put the team first. Instead, his personal scandals bled into the locker room, exposing how unprepared he was for real leadership. To make matters worse, Fisher's disgrace played out in the unforgiving age of social media. In past decades, scandals eventually faded as newspapers moved on. But Fisher's every mistake, the Barnes feud, the Knicks implosion, the DUI crash, was clipped, memed, and immortalized online. His downfall didn't just happen, it was preserved forever for the world to replay. Matt Barnes' social media taunts after Fisher's Knicks firing went viral, blasting his humiliation out to millions. Memes mocking his failed coaching, messy scandals, and reckless choices flooded the internet, cementing his downfall in pop culture forever. And then came the DUI arrest, covered not just by ESPN, but by entertainment blogs, legal sites, and influencers, pushing Fisher's shame into the mainstream. Now, when people search his name, the first thing they see isn't championships, it's scandals. His reputation can't fade with time, because the receipts are just one Google search away. To understand how bad it really is, compare him to other fallen stars. Plenty of athletes have overcome DUIs, locker room controversies, or even coaching flops and rebuilt their careers. But Fisher? His story is different. His mix of betrayal, incompetence, and reckless endangerment created a perfect storm. Other disgraced athletes showed remorse. Some rebuilt trust by apologizing and proving they had changed. Fisher? He played defense, giving legal half-admissions instead of real accountability. And unlike other failed coaches, who could blame circumstances or show gradual improvement, Fisher's Knicks tenure was such a disaster it only made his scandals worse. His inability to lead exposed his true flaws: arrogance, selfishness, and lack of discipline. Instead of redemption, he doubled down, and the result was total exile. Look at the full picture: betrayals, failures, criminal charges, and his refusal to take real responsibility. It's clear Derek Fisher's exile from basketball wasn't unfair. It was earned. This wasn't about one mistake or bad luck. It was a repeated pattern that showed who he really was when the cameras weren't rolling. The NBA community's rejection sent a loud message. Championships don't excuse moral collapse, and once certain lines are crossed, they stay crossed. Fisher had every advantage: talent, respect, success, millions in opportunity. And he threw it away for selfish choices. That's why his legacy isn't about hitting clutch shots anymore. It's about betraying a teammate, failing as a coach, crashing a car in a DUI, and refusing to own up to his actions. He went from five-time champion to an NBA exile. And basketball has made it clear, he's not welcome back. But here's the question: does Derek Fisher deserve a second chance? Or has his pattern of bad choices earned him permanent exile from the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.